We've had some cracking Android smartphones so far in 2025, but one that is right up my alley is of course the OnePlus 13. In fact, it's so far up my alley, it's playing merry havoc with my kidneys. But now Google has finally entered the fray with its latest flagship blower, the Pixel 10 Pro XL. I've used both of these buggers as my full-time smartphone, so how do they stack up for the camera tech, the gaming performance, battery life, all that good stuff? Let's have a cracking comparison, and for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do subscribe, ding that notifications bell. Cheers! So let's begin with the design, and you've got a 6.8-inch screen on both of these mega mobiles, thankfully with minimal bezel protrusion, although they're still both ruddy massive. Both roughly the same size as King Kong's Happy Sack, and just as pleasant to have sat in your palm. And perhaps unsurprisingly for such massive smartphones, they are proper heavy as well. The Pixel feels like it's got a bit more heft to it compared with the OnePlus. But on the flip side, you'd also have the handy camera bump, which acts as a finger shelf here on the Pixel 10 Pro XL, so not too bad for one-handed use. Whereas that circular camera bump not quite as stable here on the OnePlus 13. And while it's a completely flat finish here for the Pixel 10 Pro XL, you do actually have a curvy screen here on the OnePlus 13. It's a quad curved screen, so slightly bends around the edges on all four sides. Although thankfully haven't suffered any issues with the screen responsiveness, even when I'm clutching this smartphone really tight and my hand flesh is intruding on that display. And both of these Androids sport a matte finish around back. And it's available in a small selection of colours, and because it's a matte finish rather than a shiny glossy one, that means it's highly resistant to mucky nastiness. Although the same sadly can't be said for the shiny metal edging, which do get rather finger spunky. As for what they're actually made of, well, the Pixel 10 Pro XL has Gorilla Glass Victus 2 front and back, which is reasonably scratch and drop resistant. In the case of the OnePlus 13, that's actually been swapped out for OnePlus's own ceramic guard material, which, touchwood again, seems pretty durable. No scratches or scuffs that I can see after several months of use. You do have a pre-installed screen protector slapped on that display, just in case. And the OnePlus 13 actually IP68 and IP69 rated, whereas the Pixel 10 Pro XL only IP68. What that means is both of them are highly dust resistant and also water resistant. They could both be dropped in a bath, a sink, a swimming pool, whatever, and be fine as long as you fish them out. Don't just leave them in there overnight for whatever reason. But the OnePlus 13 can also survive severe spurting, whatever that entails. Now both the Pixel and the OnePlus sport an in-display ultrasonic fingerprint sensor. This is nice and nippy and also dependable as well. Even if your thumbs are quite mucky, I find that this doesn't tend to fail. That's because they actually capture a 3D imprint of your digits, so even if your hands are a bit moist, no worries, but you do have dependable face unlock as backup as well, which tends to work pretty well even when the lighting is a bit rubbish. And for your software shenanigans, well, it's the latest, freshest Android 16 here on the Pixel, whereas the OnePlus 13 still languishing on old Android 15. Hopefully we won't be waiting too much longer for that Android 16 upgrade for the OnePlus. However, while Google offers a full 7 years of OS updates and security patching for the Pixel 10 Pro XL, OnePlus can't quite match that. It is promising 4 OS updates, one of which will of course be bumping it up to Android 16, and then 6 years of security patching, so almost as good as Google on that front, but not quite. And of course, OnePlus has gone and slathered its OxygenOS launcher all on the top of Android, which certainly changes the overall vibe, although thankfully doesn't rip Android to shreds. The general structure is the same. You've still got the likes of the Discovery tab here, still got your apps tray, still got your notifications bar, although it is split into notifications and a control center here on the OnePlus, whereas it's all combined into one here on the Pixel. And both offer a pleasingly slick UI experience with nice smooth animations. Of course, OxygenOS does add some bonus bits to Android, like a proper dedicated gaming mode, more on that wee beauty later, as well as plenty of bonus customization options and the likes of OnePlus's ubiquitous shelf. I could spend absolutely ages banging on about all of this stuff, but hey, I already have done in a dedicated OxygenOS 15 video, so maybe go check that out. If you want to know more, you got nothing better to do with your limited time on this planet. But what I will briefly mention is the alert slider slapped here on the left edge of the OnePlus 13, which is a OnePlus exclusive. You don't get this on the Google Pixel smartphone. It's just a quick and easy way of flicking between the different modes: silent, vibrate, and full-on ring mode. And this will most likely be the last time you see an alert slider on a OnePlus flagship, because they've gone and replaced it with an Apple-style button. And the Pixel 10 Pro XL may use stock Android, but Google always slaps a few Pixel exclusive features onto its own blowers. Stuff like a handy built-in VPN. You've also got some excellent safety features, including car crash detection and a handy bit of call screening as well, particularly useful if your lunch is constantly being interrupted by pesky scam twats. And both of these phones, not just Google's blower, benefit from a good bit of circle to search action and all of Google's usual AI shenanigans, including Gemini, of course. Although only the Pixel also comes bundled with a year's free subscription to Google's Pro plan, which, to be honest, most people won't really need, but it comes with some extra benefits, including some AI video generation shindiggery. And Google also offers up some exclusive AI features on its Pixel 10 Pro XL, which you don't get on the OnePlus, the likes of the Magic Queue, which, to be honest, I'm yet to make proper use of, and the excellent screenshots, which is absolutely essential for anyone like myself with a memory like a deceased goldfish who finds things online that they desperately want to remember later. You know, basic stuff like what time is my train tomorrow, when is that music festival that I want to buy tickets for, and how much does it cost again, etc. And it's also worth pointing out for our American chums that if you live over in the States, you will not have physical SIM support on your Pixel 10 Pro XL. It is eSIM all the way, whereas you do actually get a physical SIM slot here in the UK. And the OnePlus 13 supports physical SIMs everywhere. And yeah, both of them do support eSIMs, no matter where you live. Quite handy if you do bugger off traveling a lot. You've also got proper 5G support. You've got Wi-Fi 7 action on both of them as well. Nice and nippy, no problems with the connectivity. But only the Pixel 10 Pro XL supports ultra-wideband comms. It's not available here on the OnePlus 13, so you can't use your OnePlus 13 to unlock your car, if that's going to be a deal breaker for you. Not much in it when it comes to the display tech. You've got a 6.8-inch OLED panel on Google's Pixel 10 Pro XL versus a marginally bigger 6.82-inch display on the OnePlus 13. Again, OLED tech. They're both LTPO screens, which means the refresh rate can go as low as 1 Hz if it's quite a static image, the always on display, etc. Scaling all the way up to 120 Hz for those silky smooth animations. And the OnePlus 13 actually goes one stage further. Apparently it can display different images on the same display at the same time at different refresh rates. For instance, if you're split screen and watching a video in the top half, which doesn't need much of a refresh rate, while skimming through a website on the bottom half. Some proper smarty pants bollocks, that. The visuals pleasingly pin sharp on both these panels too. You got 2992 by 1344 pixel resolution on the Pixel versus 3168 by 1440 on the OnePlus 13. So stick them side by side, you'll notice plenty of fine detail packed into every picture, every frame of your movie. Gorgeous contrast as well as its OLED tech. You got full HDR10 plus streaming support on both, while the OnePlus 13 also throws in Dolby Vision streaming. And while they're both undoubtedly quite shiny displays that reflect a lot of light, thankfully the peak brightness is strong enough on both these blowers that they're comfortable enough to use outdoors. In fact, I actually feel like I'm getting a bit of a tan just holding them this close to my pallid face. The OnePlus 13 does offer more color customization, etc. compared with the Pixel, which is pretty basic in that respect, and also more eye comfort shenanigans too, including if you're sensitive to OLED flicker, where you've got 2160 Hz PWM dimming, I believe it is here on the OnePlus 13, if my whiskey-addled brain is remembering that correctly. Whereas here on the Pixel, sadly, it's 240 Hz by default. You can double that to 480 Hz using the accessibility settings, but still not a patch on the OnePlus. And also the screen on the OnePlus 13 definitely more responsive than the Pixel 10 Pro XLs when it's wet. It's not great if it's proper full-on moist, but a little bit of rain spray or whatever, absolutely no issues whatsoever. Whereas even just like the tiniest bit of condensation or something on the Pixel 10 Pro XL, and it is completely unresponsive to your pokes and swipes. And you've got yourself a respectable stereo speaker setup with both the Pixel 10 Pro XL and that OnePlus 13. Nice and loud, so good news if you are trying to listen to something in a pretty noisy environment. I think the OnePlus 13's output is a bit better balanced and slightly more bassy. And of course you've got bugger all headphone jack on either of these smartphones, but the Bluetooth output absolutely fine. I've had no issues streaming to speakers, Bluetooth earbuds, even in really rowdy, crowded London environments. But then there's the matter of performance, which is a major divider between these two and will certainly sway a lot of people to one or the other. So in the case of the OnePlus 13, you've got Qualcomm's Byyyeeeee Big Bollocks Snapdragon 8 Elite stuffed in there, powering the show. Whereas Google has gone for its very own Tensor G5, now no longer manufactured by Samsung, but still shown some very familiar flaws. The everyday running is absolutely fine, and of course the AI tools and features run really well as well. But when it comes to gaming, if you are a hardcore gamer, you like your Genshin Impact or your Wuthering Waves, you will be disappointed with the performance that the Pixel 10 Pro XL has to offer. I've experienced an awful lot of juddering, especially in Wuthering Waves, which isn't really in any way optimized. So even for quite short gameplay sessions, plenty of drops in that frame rate, plenty of juddering, and it really does ruin the experience, frankly. It's not quite so bad in Genshin Impact, thankfully, especially if you don't bother bumping up the graphics settings, and more optimized titles like PUBG, Call of Duty, etc. should play absolutely fine. But yeah, if you are a dedicated gamer, you do want to play the likes of Wuthering Waves with the maxed out visuals so it looks all shiny and lovely, the OnePlus 13 is absolutely the flagship to go for. Even if you're gaming for an hour and a half, 2 hours, I rarely notice any kind of drop in that frame rate, even when the action gets pretty frickin' frantic. And of course, yes, you do have that dedicated gaming mode on hand as well, which is pretty nifty, stuffed with all kinds of great tools. And on paper, the OnePlus 13 seems to beat the Pixel 10 Pro XL when it comes to the battery life as well. You've got an almighty 6,000 mAh capacity cells stuffed in the OnePlus 13, or to be precise, 2 different 3,000 mAh capacity batteries, and that's compared with the 5,200 mAh capacity cell of the Pixel 10 Pro XL. However, the reality is that when I had my same stuffed inside of these smartphones, I got roughly the same battery life from both, around sort of 7 to 8 full hours of screen on time with mixed use. That's a good bit of video streaming, audio streaming, web browsing, camera action, etc. The only times I ever managed to get them in power saving mode is if I did a lot of gaming or video chatting in a single day and basically just absolutely rinsed these morphos. But to appease any benchmark bros out there, I did run the obligatory video battery drain test where I downloaded the same video on both and ran it on a loop until the batteries died. And there was actually a clear winner here. The OnePlus 13 survived for almost 28 full hours, whereas the Pixel 10 Pro XL gave up on life after just over 20 hours. So if all you're going to do is stream Netflix all day long, well, the OnePlus is the one to go for. But when it comes to recharging those batteries, well, the OnePlus 13 is the daddy of the pair. It's got 100-watt wired charging support, as long as you've got a supported charger and cable, versus the 45-watt charging of the Pixel. As for wireless charging, where you've got Qi 2 support on the Pixel 10 Pro XL, that maxes out at 25 watts, and of course you've got support for Google's new Pixel Snap accessories. No Qi 2 support, sadly, on the OnePlus 13, but it does support magnetic charging as long as you've got the actual OnePlus magnetic charging case, and it does actually max out at 50 watts. Alright kiddies, your Uncle Spurt's pretty knackered and needs a stiff drink or several, but let's finish off this OnePlus 13 versus Pixel 10 Pro XL comparison. Let's squint at the old camera tech. You've actually got a 50 megapixel main shooter for both of these smartphones. It's an Octa-PD 1/1.3 inch sensor here on the Pixel 10 Pro XL versus Sony's LYT-808, a 1/1.4 inch sensor on the OnePlus 13, so almost the same size. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the Pixel 10 Pro XL spaffs out pics with more natural tones, while the OnePlus tends to boost them on the default settings. But both can pump out a good looking photo and cope well with sharp contrast. Google's processing does help to remove grain and noise in more ambient conditions and general low light situations. And both phones excel when it comes to motion shots, capturing crisp images of moving subjects, as long as that lighting isn't total trouser. So certainly these are two of my favourite camera phones of 2025 so far. And of course you do have dedicated pro controls with both of these blowers as well, so you can fiddle around with the likes of the shutter speed, the ISO levels, etc. Or alternatively, if you feel like you're a photography noob and you could use a bit of a helping hand when it comes to framing your shots, well, the Pixel 10 Pro XL is on hand to help you out, dispensing wee tips in order to get the best possible shot. When it comes to zoom shots, where you've got yourself a 48 megapixel quad PD telephoto shooter on the Pixel, 1/2.55 inch sensor, compared with the 50 meg LYT 600 telephoto shooter on the OnePlus. That's a 1/1.95 inch sensor, so it is bigger, but you've only got 3 times optical zoom versus the 5 times of the Pixel. And the Pixel also boasts a 100 times ProRes zoom feature using AI Shindiggery, of course, what else, to sharpen up that image. So when you do zoom in quite far, definitely the Pixel is the superior of the pair, but that AI zooming doesn't work quite so well on people. It's better off just on basic objects. And it's quite a similar ultra-wide shooter on both, 50 megs here on the OnePlus 13 versus 48 megs on the Pixel. Both absolutely fine, even in quite low light for those more dramatic pullback shots. Now you've got plenty of AI editing tools on both these phones as well, although the Pixel is substantially more stacked. You've got the likes of Magic Eraser on both, bit of unblur, which doesn't do a huge amount, and a good bit of auto frame action as well, which can crop in or crop out of your photo to give you a different sort of vibe. But then you've got extra bits here on the Pixel, the likes of Best Take, for instance, which is now an automatic feature. And both the Pixel 10 Pro XL and the OnePlus 13 can shoot up to 4K resolution footage at 60 frames per second. You've also got native 8K resolution video capture here on the OnePlus 13, whereas on the Pixel you will have to unfortunately upload that footage to the cloud using the video boost feature for it to be upscaled to 8K if you're really that bothered. Video boost is worth doing because it can clean up low light footage and make everything look a bit shinier and sharper, especially if you're zooming in as well, although again, limited capability, so don't expect miracles. You can also shoot HDR footage on both of these blowers, topping off at 30 frames per second at 4K here on the Pixel, but the OnePlus can actually shoot 4K 60 frames per second footage at that HDR quality. And here on the Pixel 10 Pro XL, you've got yourself a 42 megapixel selfie shooter versus the 32 megapixel here on the OnePlus 13. Both again perfectly capable of shooting 4K resolution footage, and you've got those HDR smarts once again built in. And deep breath, that is what I reckon of the Pixel 10 Pro XL compared with the OnePlus 13, one of my favourite Androids of 2025. Now, which one is best for you? Well, I think they're both excellent in a number of areas. The software shenanigans on both fantastic, nice fluid feature-packed UI. Battery life is brilliant as well, although of course the OnePlus does have the boost when it comes to the charging speeds. The display tech is tops, although more customization for the OnePlus 13, which is also easier on the eyes, especially if you're more sensitive to that OLED flicker. And some banging camera action on both as well, although again, more of the AI shindiggery when it comes to the Google phone. But of course, one of the major issues with that Pixel 10 Pro XL is it's just not really very good for gamers, unfortunately. The performance in the likes of Wuthering Waves, pretty poor for a flagship smartphone, and certainly you get the dedicated gaming mode and everything chucked in the OnePlus 13, which can absolutely blaze through anything you throw at it. Ugh, Uncle needs his whiskey. So personally, if I was going to choose one of this pair, despite the fact that it's not supported for quite so long and Google does throw in some excellent Pixel exclusive features, I'd probably still go OnePlus 13. Well, that's what this bald old alcoholic reckons anyway, but what do you guys think? It'd be great to hear your thoughts on which one wins this battle down below. Please do plug, subscribe and ding that notifications bell while you're down there, and have yourselves a ruddy, wonderful rest of the week. Cheers everybody, love you!